Hello and welcome to News of the Hour on youtube.com/NDTV. I'm Ankita Mukherjee. This is where we go beyond the headlines and get you a little more on the day's big story. Well, today, the big story from Parliament was the Prime Minister announcing a trust that will oversee the construction of the Grand Ram Temple in Ayodhya. Now, many are talking about this announcement coming as it does just 2 days before Delhi goes to the polls as a political masterstroke. Now, normally any new announcement by the government would, of course, attract the attention of the Election Commission under the Model Code of Conduct that restricts any kind of new announcement that could have a bearing on the electorate. In this case, however, the government is merely announcing what the Supreme Court had already mandated it to do. So what are we talking about? Well, remember, on the 9th of November, when the Supreme Court gave its final verdict in the long-running Ayodhya title dispute case, as it is called, the court had said the government had a 3-month timeline to set up this trust, which would then independently take decisions on the construction of the Grand Ram Temple in Ayodhya. The court, of course, acknowledged Ayodhya, the disputed site, as the birthplace of Lord Ram. So the announcement now from the government, of course, comes 2 days before the Delhi election, as we said, but it comes just within this 3-month period that the Supreme Court had stipulated. The court's verdict came on the 9th of November, and today, of course, as we know, is the 5th of February. So it had just 4 more days effectively to make this announcement, and it has chosen to do so just before the Delhi elections. Politically, is this going to be significant? Well, at a time when there already seems to be this very polarizing campaign pitch, which has sort of pivoted on issues of Hindutva, of identity, where the Shaheen Bagh protests have been made a massive campaigning issue by the BJP. This is one more announcement that is likely to be seen at least in that prism. What actually happened in Parliament when that announcement took place? Well, there was a cabinet meeting earlier this morning, and the Prime Minister, in fact, came directly from the cabinet meeting to Parliament. And in Parliament, as he made this announcement, apparently all BJP MPs had been asked to be present in Parliament, and there was much thumping of tables and chanting of Jai Shri Ram slogans as the Prime Minister made that announcement. Remember, this is a hugely emotive issue. It has been even when the Supreme Court's judgment came in. So the Prime Minister said, I salute 130 crore people of India. And he said, be it Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, Christians, Buddhists, Parsis or Jains, they were all part of one broad family, and development must take place for every member of the family, etc. But he also said, Aiye, aiye, or come, let us support the construction of a grand temple in Ayodhya. That's when the desk thumping began, and there were more shouts of Jai Shri Ram from the government benches. In fact, some BJP MPs were even seen kind of raising their fists in the air, both fists, as they chanted those slogans. Well, let's talk about exactly what the Prime Minister has announced today. Well, the Prime Minister said that the Cabinet had prepared a very detailed plan for the construction of the Ram Temple in Ayodhya. The first step to this plan is the setting up of a trust. Now, this is what the Home Ministry has been working on. The Home Ministry, in fact, has been the nodal ministry for this entire process of setting up this trust for the construction of the Ram Mandir. So it's been Amit Shah's ministry that has been following this on a day-to-day basis. So it's interesting that unlike the other big decisions that were spearheaded by the Home Ministry, which were announced by Amit Shah in Parliament, for once we saw the Prime Minister making that announcement and not Amit Shah. So how is this different? Well, remember that when Section 370 was abrogated, ending special status to Jammu and Kashmir, at that time, it was the Home Minister who made that decision. And in one other significant case as well, also, it was the Home Minister, that is the Citizenship Amendment Act, when the bill was announced, that was also the Home Minister doing it. But for now, in this case at least, it is the Prime Minister who made that announcement. So there's going to be a 15-member trust that will now take decisions independently on the temple that is going to be built over there and all other decisions around that. That trust is going to be called the Sri Ram Janmabhoomi Tirtha Kshetra, which, as we said, will take independent decisions on the construction of the temple as well as all other issues. Now, of those 15 members, one member is going to be a Dalit. And in fact, this was the aspect of it that was highlighted by Amit Shah in a tweet in which he said, I congratulate the Prime Minister for this gesture that in fact promotes social equality. Interestingly, this trust is also not going to have any representatives from a political party. So it's largely going to be drawn from religious leaders or socially active members. So the Home Minister's tweet said Ram Janmabhoomi Tirtha Kshetra will have 15 trustees, including one Dalit, for this unprecedented decision to strengthen social equality. I congratulate the Prime Minister. So what happens now? The entire 67 acres around the site has now been handed over to the trust, and the Prime Minister said today in Parliament to maintain the sanctity of Ayodhya and for the construction of the temple, keeping in mind the needs of crores of devotees, this has been done. Remember, part of the Supreme Court's judgment was to make sure that alternative land was given for the construction of a mosque. And this has been done. 5 acres of land has been transferred, or has been identified rather, by the Uttar Pradesh government. But this is 25 kilometers from the Ayodhya temple complex. Now, why is that? Well, Hindu priests had reportedly asked for the mosque to be built at a certain distance. Now, there is this an accepted belief that a parikrama has to happen around the Ayodhya temple complex, and this land is a 14 kosi area, and so the mosque had to be beyond that that perimeter, and therefore 25 kilometers. So the announcement, of course, has been made. What about the political ramifications? Well, as we said, there's already been a polarizing right-wing slant to the BJP's campaign in Delhi. Is this in any way going to feed into it? Many people are questioning the timing. Obviously, the government stretched this to the very limit. They had to make an announcement within a 3-month period. They have done that, but it was about as close to the Delhi election as it could get. Well, what does the Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal have to say about this? Well, he has completely sidestepped any kind of controversy and said that decisions like this, which are in the broader general interest, are very welcome. This is a welcome move and a welcome announcement. We will welcome any such announcement, any similar announcement like this. So there is absolutely no problem. We, the Aam Aadmi Party, have no problem with that announcement, is what Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has said. Whether it's actually going to have an impact on the Delhi polls or not, well, for that you'll have to wait till the 11th of February when the Delhi election result comes out. Thanks for watching, and do stay tuned to all our regular news updates.